Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. And Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and I wanted to go into this video that you see on the screen currently. I watched the elder down in Charlotte, watched his lesson on it, and I watched Elder Malcolm's lesson on it, and I wanted to take a crack at this myself. And so supposedly Elon Musk was saying that the man that the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ is actually black. And that is true, that he's a dark-skinned man. It's also true that his name has been altered or changed to this JC version that you have. His true name is Yahweh Shai, and he's of the tribe of Judah. And everything about him, this world has turned upside down. So they changed his image from being a dark-skinned man to a so-called Edomite, which is a so-called white man, or these so-called small hatters, which are just white people masquerading as Jews, but they're not. But they changed his image, they changed his name to sound more Greek, to sound more white, and they've changed everything that he stood for. He's an austere man, but this world tells you he's all love and everyone could be saved and all these things, but all that's not true. This world has completely killed his image, killed what he stood for. And as we near the end of Esau Edom's reign, Esau being the so-called white man, as well as those 1948ers, those small hatters with the big noses, and that's Esau. They've killed his image, and as the end of their world comes, the truth is going to come out, and it's going to bring down Esau's world because it's all built on lies and robbery and murder. And whether or not Elon Musk said these things, he will eventually say these things, because as it says in Hosea 1 and verse 10, it says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered." And those people over there claiming to be the people, they say that they're low in number, in which they are. They're one of the smallest nations in the earth, and then of the Edomites, they are one of the smallest tribes. But the Lord said, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered." The Lord said it's gonna be a ton of Israelites, but those people, they just don't fit the prophecies. And it says, "And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people," and that was said unto us, we're called black, we're called Mexicans, called Indians, which Indian really just means savage, called all sorts of proverbs and bywords, as Deuteronomy 28 says. And we were called everything except for the Israelites, because Edom stole our nationality, stole our house, and they put that on themselves. And so they had to call us all these lower names while they masqueraded as the true people, but they're not. And because this lie has been set, it's going to fall. Their lie is not going to stand. And so it says that in the place where it was said unto them, that being America, primarily Babylon the Great, it says, "Ye are not my people. There it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power." So as more and more people wake up, it's going to eventually be said that we are the true Israelites. We are the sons of of God, and that's what Israel stands for. Yah, in the Paleo Hebrew, it's Yah Shar Allah. He is Prince of the power. So ye are the sons of God, of the living power. It's going to be said unto us. We're going to be called the true Israelites eventually. And I go into that because I can't find him saying this anywhere else, nor the Bill Gates thing that they were saying that Bill Gates said that the Israelites were quote unquote black people as well. But I can't find very many other outlets saying this. But it doesn't matter because these things are true and they're going to eventually say this. It's prophesied that they're going to eventually say this. So we're going to go with it and we're going to hear what this lesson has to say, and then we're going to go into the scriptures. And so here's part of this video clip.
Jesus is black. Elon Musk seems to constantly be making headlines by offering his own take on Jesus, teachings, adding an Old Testament twist. He claims Jesus was black, and he says he has proof to back it up. He points to the book of Daniel, where it describes the hair of the one to come, Jesus, as being like pure wool. Some say this means his hair was kinky. Then in the book of Revelation, it says
And so let's go to Daniel, where it's speaking of that, in which I believe that verse in Daniel 7, that's talking about the Father, but here in 10 and 6 is speaking of Yahushai. Daniel 10 and 6 said his body, Yahushai's body, also was like the beryl. Beryl's a green color, so he's in a green garment. And his face has the appearance of lightning. And the scripts say, wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. So it's showing the wisdom. And his eyes as lamps of fire, because he's got unfinished business to do, particularly with the Edomites for what they've done, touching the apple of his eye, and the blasphemy that they've committed. One of those blasphemies being this false image that we have of the Messiah. And it says, in his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass. Brass is a brown color. And in Revelation 1, it says that it's likened to color as burnished brass. So it's a dark, dark brown. And the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. Speaks of how when he spoke, all the creatures trembled under him. But then you go, so we're going to link this with Daniel 7. And this is after all the kingdoms are tossed down. And it has the Ancient of Days. So we're going to link these, Daniel and 7, because it says the scriptures say that if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So that in 10, it was a description of Yahushai. In 7, here's a description of his Father, Yahweh. And it says, and I beheld, Daniel 7 and 9, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, because it depicted these ancient empires that would rise and fall before the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the kingdom of Israel. And it says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. The Ancient of Days being the Father, Yahweh, because he has no beginning and he has no end. It says, whose garment was white as snow, because he's pure and innocent. He's pure. And his head, Salakia, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. So this is most likely what Elon Musk was referencing with calling his hair pure, or referencing the wool and then likening it unto so-called Negroes. And so I've got here a definition from dictionary.net, and it shows these older versions of a word and how it's transformed over time. But from 1894 in the Clarendon Dictionary, and you can find this in other dictionaries as well, or older editions, but it says this is of wool. It says the soft, curled hair of sheep and other animals. Then it says closely curled hair of Negroes. So our hair, Negro hair, is likened unto wool. And it's depicted here. And the hair of his head like the pure wool. And so it's curly hair like of the Negroes. And it says his throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire, depicting the chariots. But that's a picture of Yahweh and Yahawashi, who would, if they were here currently, the world would call them so-called Negroes or so-called black men, but they're Israelites. And scriptures even, actually, let's get this one, because Yahawashi came out of the tribe of Judah. This is Hebrews 7:14. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, Judah being the head tribe, and the tribe that Yahawashi, who the world ignorantly calls JC, or Jesus Christ, he came out of the tribe of Judah, this being Yahawashi, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood, because the priests were the Levites, but the ultimate priest came out of Judah, Yahawashi. And when you get a description of Judah, this is Jeremiah 14 and verse 2. It says, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. And the apologists always want to say that this is speaking of how they're mourning, but it's speaking of color as well. So let's go to that word black, which is Kedar, which Kedar was a son of Ishmael, and he was exceptionally dark. So you see the outline of biblical usage: to mourn, to be dark, to darken, to cause to grow dark. But the Strong's definition is to be ashy, which so-called white man is ashy, but dark colored by implication, to mourn in sackcloth or sordid garments, to be blackish, be dark, which is going into skin color, to mourn. But you come down to the Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, and you jump down to 2, it says to be of a dirty blackish color, burnt skin, to be darkened. And so-called Esau and his so-called white skin, it doesn't darken when they get sunburnt. They just get more red because they're the red people. But dark-skinned people, so-called Negroes, they'll get darker in the sun when the sun touches them. But this is just showing that that Judah is a dark-skinned race of people. They're not so-called white people with red, who are really red. They turn red in the sun, or when they blush, they turn red. But Negroes get darker in the sun. And this is the tribe that Yahawashi came of, showing that he would be a Negro. It's not just going into mourning, it's going into dark skin as well. But let's get back into the video.
Jesus' feet were like burnished bronze, which suggests he had brown skin. Joan Taylor, the author of What Did Jesus Look Like?, agrees, saying Jesus probably looked like modern-day Iraqis with dark brown hair and olive skin. So according to her, Jesus was likely a typical black man, not the blonde-haired, blue-eyed surfer dude we often see, but it raises some big questions. Was this misrepresentation on purpose?
Also, people have migrated from different areas. The people that are in the so-called Middle East now weren't necessarily all throughout there, and some people have been taken away, some people have been added. And that's how you look at Egypt. Egypt was originally ran by the Hamites, who were a dark skinned race, and then after they fell, the Greeks came in and took over. Which the Greeks, this being after the Edomites went into Greece and took on that name and started calling themselves Greeks. After that, they went into Egypt and took over Egypt and set themselves up as the gods of Egypt and were calling themselves Egyptians. And then after that, there was when Islam was going out and they took over Egypt, and that's the current people that you see. That's why they look more Middle Eastern or Arab than how they originally looked when they were ran by Hamites, by dark-skinned people. But the point being, migrations change and people change in these different regions, and they don't try to speak to that. He said,
when did his image change? What you're about to hear might just change everything you thought you knew. Now there's a growing call for the black race to rise and reclaim what's rightfully theirs. History has often downplayed the contributions of black people to humanity and ignored the ancient power of the black race. The Bible doesn't directly say what Jesus' race or skin color was, but it leaves enough clues about his physical features. For example, we already mentioned Revelation chapter 1, verse 16, which says his feet were like burnished bronze, refined in a furnace. If you're not familiar, bronze is brown, and when it's heated up, it turns an even darker brown. Some might argue that the Arabic, Middle Eastern people of Egypt today, living in a hot desert climate with temperatures reaching 44 degrees Celsius in July and August, are also brown, but they're just tan and their skin tone doesn't match the color of burnished bronze. But if Jesus was of Middle Eastern origin, his feet should be described as ivory, an off-white color, or something similar to a typical Middle Easterner's complexion. People of African descent are known to become darker with prolonged sun exposure due to the natural production of melanin, so Jesus, like other African-descended people, had to have been at least brown-skinned. To dig deeper, let's look at another Bible verse. Revelation chapter 1, verses 13 to 14, which says, "And in the midst of the lampstands, one like a son of man, clothed with a long robe and with a golden sash around his chest. The hairs of his head were white, like white wool, like snow. His eyes were like a flame of fire." Only black people's hair, when grown, resembles wool. The hair of Asians and Europeans is typically long, flowy, and wavy. Yet the image of Jesus...
Also, it's a shame for a man to have long hair, so you could tell this depiction is completely wrong. The Lord didn't have long hair like this that they show. And he wouldn't. He's someone who kept the law perfectly. And this long hair like this is unbecoming. And he wouldn't have done that. But back to this video.
We see worldwide shows him with blonde hair, though the Bible says his hair was white in color, wavy and long, while the Bible says it was woolly in texture. The interesting thing about finding proof in the Bible is that answers are often hidden in plain sight, right there for ages, but not many readers notice. In Daniel 10 verses 5.
And yeah, this Bible has been here for a very long time, but referencing Daniel as he is here, in Daniel 12, it says, seal up the book. And this book has been sealed, the understanding has been sealed. And so these people that are Christians and these small hatters claiming that they have the understanding of the scriptures, they're completely off. This book has been sealed, and it wasn't until Yahushua broke it in Revelation, or broke the seals, and would give the true understanding out in the end times, that the truth would come out. And The truth is out now, and these people, the Edomites in particular, so-called white people, so-called small hatters, they have been lying about the scriptures, lying about his image, lying about his name, lying about what he stands for a very, very long time. And they're about to suffer for all of this lying. But getting into them being in power to change all these things. This is Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked being the Edomites, the so-called Caucasians, and these small hatters as well. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That's who's in control. That's who's in power right now. And since they have the power and control, here's what they've done. It says he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. The judges starting out with the Father, then to the Son, the Father Yahweh, to the Son Yahushai, to the angels, and to the Israelites. They've covered up all of them. They've made them all have this so-called white appearance when they're described as having dark skin. All Yahweh, while Yahushai, while the angels, while the Israelites are all described as being dark-skinned, dark complexioned, but we see a false image currently, and that's what the wicked has done. They've covered up the image of the Lord. They've covered up his name. They've covered up what he stood for, and this is all blasphemy, and they're going to be taken out because of it. They're going to receive extreme judgment, all Edomites, which not every single so-called white person that you see actually goes back to the bloodline of Edom. Some of them go back to Israelites, and some go back to other nations, but those that are actual bloodline Edom through their fathers, they have a huge judgment to pay. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. And this is the Israelites falling away from their culture and from their heritage, from their ways, from even knowing that they're Israelites. And you can see this in Jeremiah 17 and verse 4, which these people claiming to be the Lord's people, when did Jeremiah 17 and 4 happen to them? It didn't. And it says, and that man of sin be revealed. This is going to the people that are claiming to be the true people of the Lord, as well as the rest of Edom, all of Edom, but in particular the elite of Edom, because they're the ones who have done these things. They're the ones who continue to rule the world in wickedness, and they're the ones that we're all waiting for the Lord to come and remove from power. And it says, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, destruction, because these are the people the Lord's cursed to judgment. They're saved, they're reserved for destruction, just like the remnant of Israel, his elect, are preserved and saved for deliverance. But these are the sons of perdition. This is talking about their whole nation. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped. And they put themselves above everything. They put their images there. They put their own understanding there above everything. And they actually believe that they're gods, but they're not. They're just men. Have a God complex. It says, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God. So they're sitting there. You see these images. You see the white image of Yahweh and Yahushai. You see these white images of angels. You see these images of Israelites being depicted as so-called white people, but they're not. They're actually, that's the image that the Lord hates. Not saying the the skin color necessarily, because we have brothers and sisters that are of that hue or lack thereof, but he hates the Edomites. And the Edomites have placed themselves up on high, shown themselves to be gods. And why shouldn't the Lord hate them for that? So that in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And that is the ultimate blasphemy. What these Edomites have done is ultimate disrespect, changing his name, changing his image, changing everything he stood for, and putting his people, the Israelites, the true people, underfoot, touching the apple of the Lord's eye. They are in massive trouble. And they've done this. They've set up their images. And that's why we're even at the point where people are speaking up louder, saying that these are not the true images. These are not the true people. But skipping down to verse 7 in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, it says, "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work." For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So we're waiting on Yahweh to send the commandment to Yahweh Shai, and then for Isaiah 63 to kick in, and for the Edomites to be removed from power. We're waiting on this. But it all comes down to time and measure. And when Yahweh is ready for that commandment to be given. It's verse 8. "And then shall that wicked be revealed," which this is a part of their revealing. That wicked being the Edomites, and that the Edomites being the so-called Caucasians and those small headers. So-called white people are the Edomites, and they're the sons of perdition, the people that are going to get destroyed. It says, "Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth." And he's doing that through his prophets as they reveal these things. And it's even done on lower levels, or the Edomites' tongues are falling onto themselves as well. And then the prophets take this information and give it to people via the scriptures and what the scriptures say. And it says, "And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming," because the Lord's coming back with fire and with chariots, and he's going to destroy these people. And they're going to destroy themselves as well with the ICBMs. It says, "Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan," Satan being the adversary, and these people that he has here are at first to the Lord, to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, at first to his ways, to the scriptures. They say the laws are done away with. And at first to his people. They've put the Israelites, the true Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as our scattered, they've put us down for a very, very long time. They've been complete adversaries to us. That's our enemy. After the working of Satan with all power, and they are in great power, the earth has been given into their hands. So they have all this technology, this military technology, their laws and their words that comes with all deceivableness. And it says, "in signs and lying wonders," and them placing themselves in the position of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai and the angels and the Israelites, that is the ultimate lie. That's the controversy of Zion, not knowing who the true people are. But as we know, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and the Lord's going to remove this veil that's been covering. It's the covering cast over all nations. He's removing this and taking this away. And eventually, as it says in Hosea 1:10, this is going to come to pass. So, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them," in Babylon the Great, Western society, in America, it says, "Ye are not my people. There it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power. And the more this devil is revealed, the more the revealing of the true Israelites will come forth, and the revealing of Yahweh Shai, as in Revelation. It's going to happen, and it's sooner than we could believe. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, or Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. And shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.